Israel strikes Hezbollah command centers as death toll rises. The Israeli military has neutralized command centers belonging to Hezbollah's elite Radwan forces during an operation in Beirut. This strike marks a continued intensification of aerial activity as the regional conflict broadens its scope. In a formal statement on Saturday, the military confirmed forces targeted several Hezbollah launch sites in the Al-Qatrani area of southern Lebanon. These actions are part of a wider tactical campaign aimed at degrading operational capabilities. The human cost remains severe, with reports indicating at least 826 deaths in Lebanon since the joint offensive began on the 28th of February. Amidst the violence, Lebanon has signaled a potential shift toward diplomacy, expressing openness to direct peace talks provided a ceasefire is reached first. This comes as Israel threatens a major ground invasion. Reports suggest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has assigned advisor Ron Dermer to lead negotiations, while Jared Kushner may represent the U.S. perspective. Discussions could commence within days in Paris or Cyprus. While speculative frameworks for peace have emerged, including disarmament and formal recognition, the path forward remains deadlocked as Lebanese officials maintain that a ceasefire must be implemented before any formal negotiations can begin. Next news. Late Iranian leader refused bunkers prior to assassination. The late Iranian supreme leader, who was assassinated during the joint US-Israeli military campaign, reportedly refused to move to a bunker or a more secure location despite relentless strikes. Close aide Abdul Majid Hakim Elahi revealed at the India Today conclave that the leader, who served for 37 years, prioritized the safety of Iranian citizens over his own. When security teams suggested a relocation, he reportedly stated he would only leave his residence if safe shelters were provided for all 19 million residents of Tehran. He further rejected a personal basement bunker, insisting that 90 million bunkers would first need to be built for the entire population. Elahi noted that the leader viewed martyrdom as the highest virtue and expressed a desire to die as a martyr, rather than from illness or old age at 86. Although rumors previously circulated regarding a contingency plan to flee to Russia during earlier economic unrest, these claims were refuted. The leader was eventually killed in a targeted airstrike on his Tehran compound conducted by US and Israeli forces. Following his death, Iranian state media announced 40 days of public mourning. His son, Mojtaba Khamenei, has since been appointed as the new supreme leader, while the US has issued a $10 million bounty for information regarding his whereabouts. Next news. US and China recommence trade negotiations in Paris. Delegates from Washington and Beijing initiated high-level economic talks in Paris this Sunday, establishing the groundwork for President Donald Trump's upcoming state visit to China. Led by U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng, the sessions aim to address trade and economic issues of mutual concern. This meeting follows a one-year truce reached in Busan 5 months ago, which temporarily de-escalated a trade war characterized by triple-digit tariffs. Despite the pause, tensions persist as China's Commerce Ministry recently challenged a new U.S. trade investigation into 16 trading partners, a move that could potentially lead to fresh tariffs following a recent Supreme Court ruling. Beyond traditional trade, the discussions are expected to touch upon the escalating conflict in Iran, which has sparked global anxiety over oil supplies. President Trump has recently called for international cooperation, including from China, to deploy warships to ensure the Strait of Hormuz remains open. Analysts suggest the Paris meeting is the most critical bilateral exchange before the leaders meet in approximately 2 weeks. While the White House has scheduled the visit for late March, Beijing has yet to officially confirm the dates. These negotiations mark a significant moment in what Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi described as a big year for the relationship between the two global powers. Next news. Pakistan grapples with economic crisis amid rising fuel costs. Pakistan is facing a severe economic crisis as the ongoing Middle East conflict disrupts vital oil supplies through the Strait of Hormuz. With over 85% of its crude oil imported from Saudi Arabia and the UAE via this route, recent attacks on tankers have slowed movement and created shortages. In response to the supply crunch and to prevent panic buying, the government increased fuel prices by 20% on March 6. This surge has hit the agricultural sector particularly hard, as farmers prepare for the spring harvest facing significantly higher costs for machinery and transport. The broader economy remains under immense pressure, with economists warning that GDP could fall by up to 1.5% if the conflict persists. Inflation has already climbed past 10%, with fears it could reach 30% if global oil prices hit $120 per barrel. Beyond fuel, the country faces a potential $4 billion decline in remittances as Gulf economies slow down. Daily life is increasingly difficult for citizens. Authorities have promoted remote work and online classes to conserve energy, while families are forced to cut essential expenses ahead of the Eid al-Fitr celebrations. Pakistan now looks toward alternative routes and IMF assistance to avoid total economic collapse. Next news. Israel faces missile defense strain amid Iranian escalation. Israel's missile defense infrastructure is under significant pressure as the conflict with Iran intensifies, following heavy usage of interceptor reserves during previous hostilities. Despite drawing from stockpiles after the 12 days war in June 2025, Israeli systems remain operational but are working at near maximum capacity. The situation may further complicate as reports suggest Iran is preparing to deploy cluster ballistic missiles, which utilize multiple submunitions designed to overwhelm traditional defensive shields. While Israel continues to rely on the Arrow and David Sling systems for long-range threats, officials are actively seeking tactical solutions to address interceptor shortages. In Washington, the sustainability of American support has sparked debate. Although President Donald Trump characterized U.S. interceptor stockpiles as virtually unlimited, analysts suggest inventories are lower than preferred. Data indicates the U.S. expended approximately 150 THAAD interceptors in mid-2025, and recently fired $2.4 billion worth of Patriot interceptors in just 5 days. To counter this, the Pentagon has directed contractors like Lockheed Martin to ramp up production. While the White House claims a massive reduction in the scale of Iranian drone and missile attacks, recent strikes involving Iranian cluster bombs in Israel suggest the threat persists as both nations prepare for a prolonged confrontation. Next news. Canada and Nordic nations form Middle Power Alliance in Oslo. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and the leaders of the 5 Nordic countries agreed on Sunday to significantly deepen cooperation on military-industrial production and collective security. Meeting in Oslo, the Prime Ministers of Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Iceland and Canada issued a joint statement pledging to coordinate defense procurement to maximize value for taxpayers and enhance regional resilience. Prime Minister Carney emphasized that while Canada will maintain its procurement relationship with the United States, the country is actively diversifying its partnerships to include a broader range of middle power allies to reduce strategic dependence on any single superpower. The diplomatic push comes amid a shifting global landscape, with Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen declaring that the old world order is gone and must be replaced by a new system built on shared democratic values. The leaders also reaffirmed their unwavering commitment to providing military and humanitarian aid to Ukraine. Beyond defense, the newly formed coalition plans to explore technological collaboration in areas such as artificial intelligence, satellite communications, and quantum technology. This summit marks a pivotal step in Carney's broader strategy to forge a new trading and security order led by influential middle power nations. Next news. Indian oil tanker Jag Ladki safely exits West Asian war zone. The Indian-flagged crude oil tanker Jag Ladki has successfully navigated out of high-risk waters near the UAE's Fujairah port and is currently en route to a domestic destination. Carrying approximately 80,800 tons of Murban crude oil, the vessel departed on Sunday morning amid intensifying regional hostilities that have severely disrupted maritime traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. This safe passage marks a critical achievement for India's energy security, as the Jag Ladki is the 4th Indian-flagged ship to exit the conflict zone unharmed in recent days. Government sources confirmed that all crew members are safe and the vessel's progress is being closely monitored. The successful transit comes as dozens of other vessels remain stranded west of the Strait of Hormuz due to ongoing attacks and blockades. High-level diplomatic engagements between Indian and Iranian officials have been instrumental in facilitating these safe passages for ships carrying vital hydrocarbon imports. While over 20 Indian-flagged vessels remain in the sensitive region, authorities have implemented contingency measures and rerouting strategies to ensure stable domestic fuel availability. The safe exit of the Jag Ladki underscores the ongoing efforts to protect Indian merchant fleets and maintain essential energy lifelines during the current period of extreme regional volatility. Next news. Kim Jong-un oversees test of deadly nuclear-capable rocket launchers. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, accompanied by his teenage daughter Kim Joo-ae, supervised a live-fire test of the country's 600mm ultra-precision multiple rocket launcher system (MRLS) on Saturday. Describing the nuclear-capable system as a very deadly yet attractive weapon, Kim emphasized its role as a massive destructive strike force intended for immediate use should foreign deterrence fail. The exercise, involving a dozen launchers and 2 artillery companies, saw rockets travel more than 360 kilometers before striking an island target in the East Sea. Kim stated the drill was designed to instill a sense of uneasiness in enemies within its 420-kilometer striking range, demonstrating the lethal power of North Korea's tactical nuclear arsenal. The launch, which follows the recent test firing of 10 ballistic missiles, comes as a direct response to the ongoing Freedom Shield joint military exercises between the United States and South Korea. Seoul's presidential Blue House condemned the test as a violation of UN Security Council resolutions, urging Pyongyang to halt provocations immediately. Meanwhile, South Korean Prime Minister Kim Min-seok, following a surprise meeting with US President Donald Trump in Washington, indicated that Trump remains open to a high-level summit with the North Korean leader. While tensions remain high, with Kim Yo-jong warning of unimaginably terrible consequences from the Allied drills, the prospect of renewed diplomacy persists as both sides monitor the evolving regional security landscape. Next news. IRGC vows to pursue Netanyahu amid assassination rumors. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, has vowed to pursue and kill Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, branding him a child-killing criminal. The statement, issued via state media on Sunday, suggests the Prime Minister faces an unknown fate, and claims his potential death or escape reflects a Zionist crisis. The IRGC asserted that if Netanyahu remains alive, they will continue targeting him with full force. This threat follows viral social media rumors claiming Netanyahu was assassinated. Speculation intensified after an official video allegedly showed a 6-finger AI glitch, which fact-checkers later debunked as an optical illusion. The Israeli Prime Minister's office dismissed the reports as fake news, confirming Netanyahu is fine. Tensions remain peak following the February 28 strikes that killed Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. Next news. Southwest Airlines to exit Chicago O'Hare and Washington Dulles. Southwest Airlines will cease all operations at Chicago O'Hare, ORD, and Washington Dulles, IAD, starting June 4, 2026. The carrier cited network optimization and challenging conditions at O'Hare, where it has struggled to compete with major hubs since 2021. Despite these exits, Southwest will maintain a robust presence in these regions through Chicago Midway, Reagan National, and Baltimore-Washington International, BWI. Passengers with bookings on or after June 4th are eligible for full refunds or free rebooking to nearby airports within a 14-day window. Affected employees will have the opportunity to apply for positions elsewhere in the company's network. This move follows Southwest's recent strategic shift toward assigned seating to enhance profitability.